What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And because I've been able to pull both Big Mom and Katakuri as well as Kaido and King, I definitely wanted to try and use them in Pirate Rumble. Now, I was a bit apprehensive when building the teams for them in Rumble. I will say this is definitely not the most optimal team for this, because I am missing some key characters that make the Powerhouse team a very viable team in Rumble right now. The two big hitters of Avalo Pizarro, Rumble Legend, and Rumble Rare Recruit in San Juan Wharf. Those two characters that came out like last month or the month prior, phenomenal characters for the Powerhouse squad, and if you have them, they will make your team far superior. But I will say the experience that I have had thus far with Big Mom and Katakuri as well as Kaido and King has been a lot better than I was initially expecting. Upon initial reads, I was really thinking that Katakuri and Big Mom were going to be a viable option on the Powerhouse / driven teams. I was a little apprehensive in regards to Kaido and King, mainly due to the fact that when you first pull a legend at level 99, they usually are not going to be very impressive unless if they have big health cutting effects or damage through defense, because when you're going up against a lot of enemies that are going to have massive investments, you know, characters with level limit break 3 and above, doing multiplier based attacks usually are going to be not as good. However, when you actually add the Rumble super special into the equation, things definitely change. So the way that each of these characters activate their buffed version of the special is pretty much the same, but also slightly different at the same time. So Kaido and King have to take 3 Rumble specials, whereas Katakuri and Big Mom have to take 2 Rumble specials. And because of the fact that Kaido and King take such a long time to charge their very powerful offensively focused special, I did opt to put them over to the side of the team, so they weren't going to be tanking that many hits as often, because obviously if they take too many hits, they're not going to be able to launch their special ability. However, one thing that I did kind of learn throughout playing this event, or playing with these units, is that if they tank a special, let's say it's a debuffed focus special, and they don't take damage, that actually does still count towards their Super Rumble special charging, which is something good to know in the future. Taking a look at the next team now, we're going to go up against the Rogue fight. We just went ahead and took on the latest challenge, which was against the Subaru fight, and even though it was a little bit of a longer fight, we did get the job done. I really wanted to test how this team was going to be going up against a relatively tanky squad here with the Rogue team versus this int Powerhouse driven focused squad, and to my surprise, this team destroyed this opposing team. Of course, having Pell Rumble Rare Recruit does make quite a big difference, especially when you have investments to level limit break 5. His kit is amazing for the Powerhouse teams. Another character that's obviously good if you're building a Powerhouse squad is the recently released Versus Blackbeard. Such a great asset to the squad with special reverse, mass amounts of debuffs on the opponent. The damage over time obviously can assist with doing lots of damage, which you wouldn't normally get access to, but damage over time level 10 is a different beast. It does so much goddamn damage, and especially if you hit on a character that isn't going to be launching a special and they have to perform a normal attack, that damage over time just does so much damage towards them. Moving on to one fight that I was very interested to see the result of was against the S-Hawk Slasher Challenge. Now, albeit that with this squad here, it does have V1 Dofi instead of, like, you know, 10th Anniversary Shanks or Cracker or Borsalino or something, so it is a little bit different, but it is still probably one of the more terrifying challenges because S-Hawk and Roger and Newgate are just a destructive force that you really have to come up against here, and luckily, once again, we did get the job done. So the one thing I actually kind of did like as well, even though Katakuri and Big Mom, they're not really focused on doing damage to the opponent, they do provide a little bit of damage, but the cool thing is that when you do get the ability to launch the Super Rumble special, they basically become like Enmazor on a Free Spirit squad, where they actually apply a 4 times counter status. They also put Provoke on themselves, and the other cool thing is that this character has a revive mechanic in their Rumble ability. So yeah, basically, Katakuri and Big Mom is Enmazor, but for the Driven and Powerhouse squads instead. So I really love that. And the thing is that Enmazor doesn't really have an ability to do damage against the opponent aside from countering, whereas, you know, Kaido and Big Mom, should I say Katakuri and Big Mom, they have the counter effect, they have the provoking like Enmazor, but they also just do a bit of chip damage as well. I think they target 2 characters with high HP for a decent multiplier, and of course when you use that Super Rumble special, applying the counter and provoke for 60 seconds is actually kind of cracked. And speaking of cracked, the Super Rumble special of Kaido and Alba, especially when you get it to level limit break 5 deeper, you know, once you get a lot of dupes into this guy, it's gonna be absolutely destructive how much damage you do with it. Moving on to our final clip here is going to be against the S-Bear Challenge, the Psy team, and even though the opponent here has Wano Law, which has been the bane of Powerhouse and Driven teams, basically, since he has been released into the game, that Wano Law has just severely nerfed those Driven and Powerhouse squads, and especially with his Super Evolution too, where normally those debuffs would only last for 40 seconds. If I remember correctly, with the 6+ of Wano Law, those debuffs actually last forever, so we have a lot of our characters getting reduced special CT, which does make a little bit of a difference in terms of how potent our team will be. But luckily for us, you know, once again, this team is actually somewhat tanky, and relatively tanky, honestly. Blackbeard providing a lot of support, because even though Blackbeard doesn't really buff our team a lot, he obviously provides a ton of debuffs on the opponent, which can both make them easier to deal with, but also allow us to tank more damage from them as well. So you can see that Katakuri and Big Mom are about to launch their special, which is great, so it's going to take the pressure off of a lot of the other characters in our squad. So what I will say overall is that the synergy between Blackbeard, Katakuri, Big Mom, Kaido, and King is great. And then Pell, fantastic. If you have characters like Avalo Pizarro to add to this team, and even like San Juan Wolf as well, man, oh man, this is a very destructive squad to look out for. Very, very powerful. Definitely one of the better teams in Rumble right now. Very, very good team. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it. If you guys have used these characters or come up against them, how have you found it to be thus far? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about them. Really hope you enjoyed this video though. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.